All right, welcome back. So now we are going to do a site plan. How do we create a site plan? Well, traditionally you would get like this roof plan, duplicate it somewhere else and then add a few elements to turn it into a site plan. But now with the power of the layers and layer combinations that we have just learned, it's easier to actually work with this drawing to actually turn it into a site plan. Let's do just about that. So first of all, we want to actually add the elements that we actually want to add to the site plan. So let's look at simple elements such as this. Let's just pick like a polyline in order to create the site itself. So, and we're going to use a standard site plot size. So I'm going to do that by heading over to options, and then I say project preferences. I want to change the working units just for now to in terms of feet and inches, because here in the country our plots are in feet. So let me change this to feet temporarily such that I'm able to work on the plot size. So a standard plot is usually 50 by 100. So I'm going to create something like that using the polyline. So you can see that now the working units have been changed to feet. So I'm going to put here 50, and then I press the down arrow and then I add 100. Okay, and now we have ourselves a standard plot, and we want to actually fit this thing in here. So right now I can change back the working units to what I'm comfortable with. So I'm going to go back to options and say project preferences and working units, and I'm going to take this back to millimeters, which I'm quite comfortable working with. Okay, so now we can position the proposed building in here, and then also I need to quite understand why we actually use the roof plan in order to create a site plan, because traditionally you can actually use a ground floor as well, but I feel like this roof plan would be a better option in terms of creating the site plan. Yeah, I think architecturally it's better to actually use the roof plan in order to create your site plan. But even if you chose the ground floor, it would still be the same procedure. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that site. So currently we have that, and then we say let's create a line here which is going to enable me to find half of it and move this side to such that we have half this side and half that side, so to have the building well situated in here. And remember, we also need a backyard for this building, so it's wise that let's leave some backyard space. I'm going to leave something like 5 meters. Okay, and now I think that would be a better way. So we have a large compound in here and then a backyard behind there. So this is the site, and to differentiate it, I'm going to change the line type to something like this XX along this, such that it identifies as a boundary. So we have our boundary there, and then we want to create a gate. So let's pick a simple element like this fill, and then we give it also a red color, and we go ahead and create this thing in terms of the gate. So what size of a gate do you think is appropriate? I think 6 meters is more than enough. So let's create that. I'm using the third method of construction such that it's easier for me to create a gate looking it from above. So let's see 6 meters. Okay, and then we give it a thickness, I don't know, of like 300, and making sure that this solid line has been created. So it's the line that actually I needed to be in the color red, and we can position the gate to where we want. I think the right side is fine, totally fine, and we can display order, also bring it to front, so we have ourselves a gate position here. And this is actually like the plan looking at it from above, so let's increase it just a little, and then we have ourselves you know, an indication of where get. And then we need somewhere where cars are going to park, so we will pick this and change this to a pavement ground. And currently we can't see that option, and that's because we are on cut fill category. So we want to change the category to drafting such that we are able to access more fill types. Okay, so let's look for pavement, and there we have, I think I like pavement 11, that will do. And red may be too shouty, so let's get something quite light and also a dark background, and that's just, you know, in terms for preference's sake. And then we go ahead and draw in a parking space, because I imagine when people come in, it's important that I actually get where to park. And that's actually more than enough, so they can come in and be here. So let's also pick a car here and just type in car in the object parameter here, and you can see that we have a few options. All we need is a 2D representation of it, and we place it in here just to show how this will be like. Okay, and next on a site plan, what is essential is the septic tank position. And I'm going to actually imagine that this site slopes towards the gate side. So let's create a septic tank area, just create a simple layout. So according to the capacity of this building, I think 1.8 by 1.2 is more than enough for the size of the septic tank. So we also need 600 by 600 manhole for inspection. Okay, something like that. And then as well, we need a soak away pit. So let's get some circle here, and then we will place 600 radius soak away pit. Yeah, something like that. And in order to make it a little bit clearer, we can pick a fill, use gravel in it, and change the pen such that they are not so shouty. Okay, and hold down spacebar and click in here in order to have that sort of representation. Pretty cool. And then we can go ahead and show that things leave the septic tank to the soak pit, and then we have ourselves a line of these, you know, elements that go around the building, going to especially where we have kitchen areas. So on the ground floor, you need to identify the areas where we have the kitchen, and then where we have the WC, and those are the positions that actually need manholes. Okay, let's go back to the roof here, and we have ourselves that, and we have ourselves that, and then I think we need something here. Pretty cool. And move this also here like so. Those will be enough for now. Okay, so let's just put in connections of these manholes such that we have, you know, perhaps this needs to come down a little, so we will move this down. And we connect this in here, this one here as well, and then so we have that closed loop. You may, you know, go ahead and connect this, or I don't think it's necessary, but if we actually have some elements in here, if we go to the ground floor, if we had some washrooms in this area, it would be necessary to also add some manholes, but for now that's not important. So we have a simple layout of what a site plan would look like. Okay, and you can add as more information as is necessary depending on the regulations of your local authorities, such that you are not on the wrong side. Okay, so we have ourselves a simple outline, and you actually want to name these things, so I'm going to go ahead to very fast name these things. And just like that, you can see that we have ourselves simple nomenclature just to show whatever is happening here on the site plan. So you can see MH is for manhole, and then we have a septic tank, and then a soft well pit, and we have ourselves a system to drain the things out of here. Now we want to actually make this into a viable site plan, because currently we have just put this on the roof plan, and these things are actually going to be shown on the roof plan, which is what you don't want. So how do we actually use the power of low layer combinations to actually create ourselves a site plan? Well, we have to create a layer combination for site plan, because currently we have one for the floor plan. Okay, and in order for it to work, we need to assign the right layers to our things. For example, if I select this car, you can see it's under MEP electrical, and perhaps that's not a good idea. So let's look for a layer that actually will be seen on a site. So for example, we can name this as a site something, or we can create, a different layer that works for this particular kind of arrangement. So for example, you can see that we have here things to do with the site. We have site and landscape general. Maybe that the car can actually be on that layer. So I need to also assign these elements, this element also to the site. So I look for anything that deals with sites, and you can see that that has been assigned. And then as well, this site boundary, we needed to assign it to a site, and I'm going to choose site landscape general. And for fast sake, I'm going to just select polyline, Ctrl A to select all polylines. Actually, they are not polylines, they are lines. Okay, so I'm going to select all lines except for these ones here, because these are supposed to be on the floor plan. So I'm going to go ahead and uncheck all of them, and because they are necessary on the floor plan, but they are not necessary on the site plan. So let's change this to something like the site, anything to do with the site information. And remember as well, we also need to locate this building on the site. So we might as well pick any of these dimensions, and then we add the site dimensions. So let's just add a few for demonstration, and make sure that we put them on dimension sites. Okay, and that is the layer the layer we are going to use. And then we locate that. This is how actually you locate this corner. And then we create another one here, just going to put in 4 dimension strings. So we have that one, but of course you can add as many as possible. This is serving as demonstration. So I'm going to go ahead and show how you actually locate this corner, and then I'll go ahead and locate this one as well. All right, just place these dimension lines in here, and then Ctrl D to drag them into place. All right, and then I think the most crucial ones would be these dimensions that show how far from the sides this proposal is located. Okay, so we can see they are just a meter away from the boundary. All right, so we have ourselves something really simple that shows these dimension strings. First of all, we want the dimension string that belongs to the floor plan to be removed from this equation. So we can select them and then right click and say layers and hide layer. We do not need to see those. Okay, and now we have ourselves a site plan. Okay, and you can see that by doing that, we have ourselves something here which we call a custom. And now how do we actually save this as the site plan? Well, it's easy. So we can right click here and say save view. We are now saving another view, and this view we can name it as custom, This is where it is actually applicable, and then we say site plan. Okay, let's create site plan. Okay, so now we have ourselves a kind of site plan, but don't forget to add an access road to your site plan, because it's, you know, it would make sense to actually have an access on the site plan. So I imagine something like so in here, and you also create, you know, elements that show that this is continuous and this is actually continuous. And you know what, let's just do it. Why not? Let's just do it. Let's leave here a road reserve of about 1.5. And actually a road reserve is removed from the plot itself, so we might as well reduce this by 1.5. okay, and then making sure that this side reduces, okay, by 1.5. Yes, because of regulation, my friend. That side, the boundary wall should be in there. And then what that means is that we could borrow some of this fill and apply it in here and create something simple, something like grass, or it could be paved. Why not? Let it be paved such that it's along this road, paved along this road, such that, you know, it's easy to access this place. And then we have ourselves that, and then we can also dimension our road. So I don't know how much I have given it. Let me remove this 262 such that it's just, you know, 5 meters. So let's go ahead and create a dimension string, making sure that it's dimension side, and then we assign that in here like so. And then we have ourselves a road which indicates that we have a 5 meter road and 1.5 reserve. Okay, and then let's make it opaque such that, you know, it's actually readable, and that opaque needs to be white, needs to be a background color. Okay, so let's change that to background color. Okay, there we are. So that's much readable, and you can make it a little bit bigger if you want, if you wanted to make it legible, because usually site plans are on a larger scale. So you make site plans on a bigger scale, like 1 to 200 as opposed to 1 to 100. So some of these things may not be seen, so you want to make them as big as possible. So let's use like 4 as the size. And then as well, you have to dimension the site itself. Okay, so we have that 28 point something, and then we have this one as well, together with the back. Okay, so that would be how a simple site plan would actually look like. And since we have decided to do everything, let's also reduce this such that, you know, it will be easier for us to document the site plan, and add lines that show continuity. Okay, because then it would actually make sense for people that we have a continuous road. Okay, so let's go ahead, create a simple line, something like so, and then go in there, create using a polyline, create something like so, like so. I think I'm gonna need a guideline. Okay, and then we have ourselves an element like this. Yeah, and that will serve for demonstration purposes. And usually you can create this element and actually use it multiple times. So for now, let's create this one. I will group it, Ctrl G to actually group, so that it's easy to move around. If I Ctrl Shift M to mirror, oops, so I'll do that again, Ctrl Shift M to mirror, I will have myself this mirrored to this other side. So right now we have ourselves an access road that shows the continuity, and as well we might want to add some of these names. For example, we need to mention that this is, come on, and actually Archicad knows how to actually do some of this stuff, so you want to make sure that the text is selected in order to be able to edit. So I'm going to say gate, because this is what it is. Okay, and then we have it there, and then we also want to name the access road. Okay, so we need to make it a little bigger than what it is now, around 4 or even 5, and then we add in access road. Okay, and then we can expand this lettering like so, and if you're into it, you can go in the settings and increase the spacing in here. I think I'm going to make it 200%, and we'll have ourselves something like this. Pretty cool, huh? Now we want to actually make sure that this stuff is not appearing in the roof plan, okay? Because currently, if we go to the view and we double click on the roof plan, we have a mess. We bring back our dimension strings, and then as well we lose the information, the one which is supposed to be on the site plan. Okay, great. So what we want to do actually is to exclude elements that we have added to the site and landscape general, and that is really easy. So you want to, but this is really important, you want to go to Control L to bring back this, or which you can go to document and say layers, and then you go layers, and this is what you're actually interested in. And what we have to do is to select the layer combination that we have used for this thing here, which is the floor plan, and then we go in here and then remove this landscape general. And how do we remove it? We just click here on hide element, and this element will be hidden on the floor plan. So once we say okay, now with our floor plan, you can see that we have lost many of those elements. Okay, and that's actually how you continue to actually work with this. So let's select also these lines, and you can see that currently they are on 2D drafting, and yet 2D drafting is shown on the floor plan. So you want to actually assign these ones to an area which we have already hid, which is site, because it's site information. Okay, so let's select also these lines, and in order to select them much faster, I'm going to just mark you here and select here line, Control A to select those ones, and I will assign them to a layer which we hid from this plan. And as well, we might also need to hide our text, so select text, Control A to select all text, and you can see that it's only this text that we will need on the floor plan. So this other stuff, we want to hide them. Okay, so we will go ahead and assign them to this hidden layer which is shown on the site plan. Pretty cool. Okay, and now let's take the fill, Control A to select all fields except for this one, the one which is present in here, because I can see it's selected. Okay, and we want to assign this one to the site, so let's go ahead and assign that to site landscape general, and we want to do the same for this thing. So essentially this is what you want to do. You want to assign these things on a layer which you're hiding from the site plan, but from the floor plan, but then it is being shown on the site plan. So you can see if I double click here on the site plan, all those elements are back. If I click here on the roof plan, all those elements disappear, but we still have a few more that are still being seen, these dimension strings that are still on dimension site, and it would be nice to actually hide dimension site from the roof plan, okay, from the floor plan layer combination, which is pretty easy. Let's go Control L and look for that floor plan and hide a dimension, anything, a dimension strings that are supposed to be for the site. So this layer is not supposed to be shown on the floor plan. So all we have to do is to click here, and it has been hidden. It has been hid. Okay, and there we are. So you can see that now we have ourselves a roof plan which we had before we actually began, and throughout the entirety of this video we have actually created something else, which is this site plan, which shows all the rest of the information. And you can see that you can easily switch from the roof plan to site plan quite easily, which is pretty cool, right? Oh, so that's it for this video. I know it might have been a bit long, but get the simple ideas, which is that, you know, you apply these things to a layer and then you hide that layer from this setting here. And just as a bonus, before we leave, we can actually save this layer combination because right now it's named custom. So with this site plan in here, I can name this. So let's say Ctrl-L, and then I just click on new, and then I will name that as site plan, such that it's not custom, because we will not easily identify it. Okay, so if I say site plan, and you can see that now it has been changed to site plan. So you can see if we change this back to drafting, we get back to floor plan, we get back to the floor plan itself, and if we change it to the site plan, we get ourselves back to site plan. Pretty cool, right? All right, so let me see you in the next video. Bye for now.